You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. Just for people to understand in terms of what has happened. So this, folks, is actually what we've done in the first year. Y'all can go to it. 100.7 million video views across Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope, and 434,989,797 minutes of content viewed.
Congratulations.
That's what we had done just in the first year.
Woo! That's awesome.
Like I was on this conversation late last night and with someone who's in media, but this is not what this is. They sort of fell into it, and I was trying to explain to her the power of media. First off, media is America's greatest export in terms of our movies, in terms of television shows, in terms of music,
news,
and how the world looks at this country is defined by what is being exported out. And I tell people all the time, the reason I, like when I go after certain people who say stupid stuff on television, is because I understand the power of words and images and how they can completely frame a conversation. And I think what we are seeing now with the internet, what we're seeing now with streaming services, the gatekeepers who control this before, frankly, they're going crazy because they no longer can contain it. They no longer, whether it's a movie, whether it's music, whether it's shows like this, it used to be they decided who got shows. They decided who were guests on shows. They decided what the news was. Game has changed.
Well, I think that with those different mediums comes a huge demand for content. And the content is what they can't control anymore. I get questions all the time in regard to this show. I've seen you on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Why is he doing that? You said that earlier. I get that too as a regular guest. And I said, listen, you know, he controls his content. He controls the time, place. He gets the guests, so he controls all of that. Why not? He gets sponsors too, if you will. And so instead of trying to be in mainstream network, you've done that already, right? But you've also created a platform for black voices, whether they're lawyers, whether they're political commentators. You can look across the board and see who's on main networks and cable and who still come here, but they started off here and did a lot of work with you in black media. And I hate that term, black media, because all media is media. But I think the fact that the internet and these social media platforms has helped our people, our communities, a great deal. And so you can't be controlled anymore unless you just want to be, which is if you want to wait for a deal with ABC or NBC or CNN, you could certainly do that and work that. But you got to be picked. And the odds of you being picked versus you doing your own show or doing your own commentary or blogging, and it can get out there worldwide, is very real. So why wait?
Monique, you look at Justin Bieber. I saw the story the other day. I mean, he didn't wait for a record deal. He was a YouTube sensation. And all of a sudden, someone is like, okay, we got to sign him. And that again, to me, is what is amazing, because I think one of the things that has been very interesting over the last year, I really love jacking with the haters. Because, see, I've had people who say, oh, that's nothing. We saw this video that you had on YouTube and it had 200 views. I'm like, well, you do know we live stream the one show 8 times. And so I don't care about the one video. And then the people, of course, were hating, saying, oh, well, your number's not real. I said, see, here's the beauty of YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. The number is right there. Like it says in the left-hand corner, 8.4K views or 20,000 views or 200,000 views. I said, get a calculator. And so my deal is, if you want to dispute the numbers, feel free to go back and count yourself. And the thing is, trying to get them to understand, stop living by white validation. That somehow you're validated because you're on a network. Just like I've told people, you're not validated as an author if you sign a deal with HarperCollins. The moment you got a book and they got an ISBN number, your ass an author.
Yeah.
If somebody pay you for your book, you an author. But so many people live by this need to be validated by somebody else that they, frankly, are allowing their talents to go wasted.
Yeah, and first of all, congratulations, Roland, on your one-year anniversary. I mean, I personally, just in watching the trajectory and the journey of your career, am inspired to do more. As I tell you privately, I want to say publicly, I mean, we need more examples of this, at people who just do what they do, you know, and for you, that has always been journalism. And it's who you are, it's what you do, and I think for all of us, we need to reach that. What hit me in the interview is, before it was like, you have free speech, but it doesn't matter if there's one megaphone and you got this one group of people who control that one megaphone. And so I can say whatever it is I'm gonna say, but if my voice can only reach the two people on the sides of me, then is my speech really free? Sure, I can say it. To me, YouTube, internet, digital platforms have leveled the playing field. There are no excuses. Your platform is in your phone. You know, so if there's anybody who wants to do good, if there's anybody who thinks they can sing, if there's anybody who wants to do a startup, I'm watching people 23 years old who are in joint ventures that are garnering millions of dollars, and I'm like, nah, girl, no excuses.
Steven Soderbergh shot an entire Netflix film, Michael, with an iPhone 6 Plus, 7 Plus. The whole film.
Yeah.
Now you got to learn how to use it, but he shot it with an iPhone 6 Plus and a 7 Plus. And again, and for the people who, and it kills me, because I was talking with somebody, and I use this example all the time when somebody's like, well, when you gonna get a real show? Here's what's interesting. Fox Nation, because just for y'all to understand, when I launched it, people said, are you crazy? What are you doing? You can't do that. In the year, so first of all, when they canceled TV One, the announcement was early December 2017. Last show was, I think it was December 20th or something like that, okay? So that's when I said we're gonna overdrive. So this has really been from December 2017, we launched September 4th, 2018. There are people who are saying, what are you crazy, are you doing it? Since I announced I was launching this, Michael, Fox Nation has launched a streaming service. NBC has launched a streaming network. ABC has expanded their streaming network. Pluto got sold for $340 million. Cheddar got sold for $200 million, a post-cable network. All of these people, you look at Disney is pulling their shows off of Netflix, launching their own streaming service to compete with Netflix. Warner Media pulled Friends off of Netflix, launching their own streaming service. So it's interesting that all these other people, major companies, are launching streaming services, are launching news networks. For this and for this, the folks are like, you shouldn't do that because, you know, that just doesn't sound right. And I'm like, what the hell you call that? And also, I gave you the number of the viewing. And folks, understand, we also do the audio podcast of this show. Here we go to my iPad. My man Keenan sent me this. And so even our podcast plays has been 455,928 since we launched. So you add that with the video views, you're talking about 105 million.
Yep.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see now that everyone has access to these platforms if the rules change. Because the rules always change when diversity enters into the marketplace.
This is also why we fought net neutrality.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens if we're still sitting here in a year and the FCC hasn't started coming down on streaming services. And so we'll see. Hopefully it'll stay open, but usually the rules change when people of color and diversity enter the marketplace.
But let me also say this here. Now, here's another graphic I'm going to go to, all right, which is not as large. Can we go to my iPad? So the number of people who actually joined our Bring the Funk fan club. Our target goal the first year was 20,000, giving an average of $5. So we had 2,495. Now, let me unpack that. The reason that's critically important because, again, you can't say, oh, man, it's great that we get to say what we want and we get to hear stories that we don't hear elsewhere and we get to hear voices that we don't hear elsewhere, but then how are you going to pay for it? The reality is, we as African Americans, we pay for a whole lot of stuff. White folks, Latinos, Asians, Native Americans spend money on a whole lot of stuff. The thing, though, is, what are we spending money on? And so when I asked for folks to join our Bring the Funk fan club, giving an average of $50 for a year, some people actually gave more than that. Some gave $100, $250, $1,000. Had a 92-year-old black woman who, and I'm going to pull up in a minute, who, before we launched, sent me a check for $500. She was 92 years old in Long Island, New York, and she said, your voice matters. That comes out to folks $4.19 a month. That comes out to, 18 cents a day, whatever the number is. Now let me walk you through that. So this is what we've been able to do over the last year with a very small amount of money. We've done 220 original hours worth of shows. We've done more than 30 one-on-one interviews with folks like Spike Lee, Senator Doug Jones, and so many others. We've live streamed more than 30 rallies, conferences, events that have taken place over the course of a year. All independent, not corporate. Thankfully, I've partners that have also been with us as well. So I'm saying that because we also have to support what we do. Black America would not have been able to get through Jim Crow without the Chicago Defender or the Pittsburgh Courier. If black people did not subscribe to those newspapers, they could not have sent folks to the theaters of war overseas, could not have sent people to investigate crimes of racism and discrimination all across the country. So the point I'm making is, if black folks in 1906, in 1910, 1920, could support black newspapers, then why don't we support black media? And that's why, Scott, I call it black media, because the reality is, if we don't, again, I go back to the first black newspaper, Freedom's Journal, 1827. I know you work with NNPA.
Yep.
They said, quote, they wrote in the lead editorial, "We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us."
Right.
And I get emails every day from people. My son is being railroaded. Can you investigate this? I got an EEOC complaint. People have we literally don't have staff who can follow up on these emails. And so that's why, so when people sit at home and go, man, I love the show, but then you don't contribute in any way, what you're really saying is, somebody else, can y'all go ahead and pay for it? But then when stuff, because here's the piece, we will never get canceled if we support us.
Right.
Like, there will never be a meeting where I get called into where someone says, we're canceling your show, because I'm the one who calls that meeting. Now, I don't want to have to come on the air one day and say, yo, this is our last show. But the reality is, we have to have black folks who support black media. Because if we say, I want it to happen, or I want to see us cover the 2020 election. I got black people right now. Some of y'all are saying, I want to see post-debate analysis. I want to see election night coverage. I want to see all of that. Well, guess what? It don't happen on its own. Car service gets paid for. Staff gets paid for. And so that's why it's important for us. We have to be in the habit of doing just like black people did with black newspapers. You have to subscribe in order for it to continue.
Okay, so Roland, that begs one question.
Yep.
Your show was a morning show. We still need those shows, though.
But they don't exist. There are eight networks, cable and broadcast, that target African Americans. Right. They do 1,344 combined hours of content a week. There's not 1 hour of news.
Okay.
Because here's why. Because Sheila Johnson talked about this when OWN was created. The advertisers have created this system where they say, we're going to fund what folks watch. It becomes self-fulfilling prophecy. So therefore, if I put on comedies or dramas or old sitcoms and you watch them in large numbers, and then I put on this news show over here, which is costly. Original content. So let's say that news show is going to cost $3 to $4 million a year. Well, if I can't even break even on advertising on that because of the numbers, I'm going to cancel it. And so people used to get mad at Bob Johnson. Bob Johnson said the E in BET stands for entertainment. The reality is, people say, man, we need this. Right. The question is, will we support it with our eyeballs? And that has to happen. On an absolutely unbelievable fantastic, great day. We had about 130,000 viewers for News One Now. Now, I argue that if they put the show in fringe prime time, 6 p.m. or even later, we could have a larger number, and I believe we could have. But again, that was a decision that programming makes. The beauty of what we do is, which is why we must stream multiple times, we don't have that problem. Because I'm not worried about, okay, it's coming up, because although we live at 6 p.m. Eastern, we restream at 10 p.m., 2 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m. We restream twice a day, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, Sunday morning, Sunday evening, and it's VOD, which means you can watch it on demand as well, and we have audio podcasts. And so we give you all of that, but still what has to happen is we don't have to worry about ratings.
Right.
The difference with us is if that number was...
are your ratings.
No, but here's the point.
Right.
If that number was 50 million and we had 20,000 subscribers, that's still no issue. And that's the point. If we still support it, now you're not locked into, I gotta go get sponsors, I gotta go get advertisers, because your subscriber base says, do what y'all do, build it, we've got the money taken care of. Go ahead.
Okay, but here's the deal, though. All righty, you make the case for these social media platforms, right? There are going to be more black networks. Eventually, let's say 5-10 years, it's concept, precept, whatever. There are going to be more networks. They're going to be, and the main networks and cable are going to still be there too. If this platform that you're on is so good, right? At some point in time, somebody's going to come calling. Would you go back?
Maybe, but here's the piece,
You
though.
would.
No.
Even with all of this.
Scott, you're wrong.
Okay.
See, because my history already proves you wrong.
Then what?
I was on TV One. I got paid by TV One before CNN called.
Okay.
I was at the Chicago Defender. I was doing television when CNN called. I didn't want to leave the Chicago Defender. The problem was the black people who own the Chicago Defender said, we just want this to remain a small community newspaper. I'm like, that ain't my vision. That's why I left. I could have done, and this is why they later apologized to me, because they said, man, that was dumb of us. The Chicago Defender could have had they could have been the only black newspaper in America who had their managing editor, who was a commentator on network television, representing a black newspaper every single day. But they had short vision. Okay, they screwed that up. They made a profit. I was there 3 years. We made a profit my last 2 years. They hadn't made a profit in 20 years. They would have had a bigger profit. Now, so I joined CNN. I didn't leave TV One. Election night, 2008. I tell CNN, we want you on the air the whole night. I said, I'll be on the air all night, but I got to leave twice to go do a hit for TV One. They literally said, what are you doing? You're going to be seen in 200 countries. I said, yeah, but they paid me before y'all did. So I never left black media. I had a meeting with John Klein, who was the president of CNN in 2000, this was in 2009. We had lunch, and he said to me, he said, when you going to stop doing this TV One stuff and Tom Joyner Morning Show and all this other sort of stuff? And I said, when you going to give me a 5-day-a-week show? Then I might consider it. 2010, John Klein got fired. 2013, CNN didn't renew my contract. This is 2000.
They did or did not?
Did not.
Okay.
This is 2019, 6 years later. I'm still doing Tom Joyner. I did TV One for another 4 years, 5 years before my contract ended. Right. I'm still doing my speeches and my books. I would have been stupid to give up my black platform on the hope of a show one day on CNN. So, if a network calls, I'm going to still do this because I own this. Now, if somebody then says, well, we want to do something more expansive, then you know what I'll then do? Okay, we're going to keep this here. I find me another host, I still own it. See, the stupidest thing in the world is for us to let go of something that we control. Right. I had an interview with Winnie Mandela. CNN said, well, why didn't you ask her this, and this? I said, why in the hell y'all didn't have somebody else ask the question? I said, I asked what the hell I wanted to ask. They said, well, we're not going to run it. I said, all right, cool. John, give me the tape. I'm running my TV One show. See, so even though CNN, didn't want to run it, it still got on. Right. When Winnie Mandela died, we live streamed the entire interview on Roland Unfiltered, and we were down in Memphis for MLK 50. Right. Why? So if CNN had controlled the whole interview, My interview with Winnie Mandela would have never seen the light of day because somebody there in control said, it's not going to run. But because I control my own show, I said, I'm going to run it over here. That's why I will never let go of my own stuff because I'm not going to let somebody else tell me no. I'm going to say, fine, no for you, but not no for me. Monique, go ahead.
But Roland, I guess.
And Jackie, no, I'm coming to this guest next because because this guest ties into this topic. And so just give me 5 more minutes. Monique, go.
What can we do, though, to get the message to people who may be watching now about putting your money where your mouth is in terms of what you say you value? Because when the 1619 Project came out last week, who was it that was running it?
Nicole Hannah-Jones.
She put a tweet out just amazed at the people who were complaining about it not being free. And I'm like, jokers.
Right.
Are you kidding me? You pay for a newspaper and they managed to get this body of work done, something that ain't been done. I mean, and you don't want to pay for it. You watch CNN or whoever, you pay a cable subscription. You pay money every month for that. These nails cost money. This hair costs we know the value, and you stay clean. So you know, Scott, we all know. It's not y'all don't hate them. I'm not saying girl, no, check your hair, get that right. Keep them nails right. I'm not advocating against it. I'm saying that this is a much smaller amount that can provide education, information, will have your back when you need it in your community, will cover the stories about the stuff that's going on in your community. How do we get the message out to value
First of all, I just think, we got to keep saying it. It's repetition. Today, I've literally sent text messages to about 30 or 40 entertainers who probably collectively in their platforms exceed 75 million, saying, this is our first anniversary. I've already put together, curated 4 tweets. You can just copy and paste. Here's an image. Share with your platforms. Now, the question is, will they? See, because here's it. There's no cost. There's no, and people hit me all the time. Hey, Roland, can you share this? There's no cost to me to hit retweet. There's no cost for me to go copy, paste, here's a photo, click, it goes out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The question is, do we see that? And do we practice that? And that's the real thing, I think, Michael, when you talk about, because even to your point about the New York Times, and that's great with 1619 Project, and I'm not dissing it, but that ain't black media. That ain't going to black folks. All I'm saying is, that's an amazing package put together, but I told y'all, we did 220 hours of Daily Show. Throw in the 30 to 40 one-hour interviews, throw in the rallies we covered. If I tabulate, and I'm going to have my guy tabulate it, Keenan's probably going to go crazy. I will dare say we did 400 plus hours of black targeted content. There's no black network that can compare. And I dare say, on the news side, there's no black website. The Root, BT.com, Media Takeout, go down the line, that did black news. I'm not talking about entertainment. And that's, I think, what people have to understand. Michael, final comment before I go to my next guest, because this ties into it.
I'm going to co-sign for what Monique and Scott said, and frankly, what you said. I know Jay has your guest on hold, so I'm just going to tell you, you're a pioneer, and congratulations, and to have the courage when the other folks do come at you to say, I'm going to keep my other stuff. And that's what I think is, when you teach your class in communications or media, you need to tell young folks, hold on to your own thing that you own.
Which is also why many of those networks don't call me. See, I need people to understand, because I need some of y'all to understand.
Unbought.
Because literally, I had somebody who told me, so I had a very influential person, black person in media, say, Roland, you know you got lots of enemies in mainstream. Because I understand the power of controlling your narrative.
Yep.
And I've never allowed somebody else to say, we're going to pay you X amount. Will you leave? Nope. Because there will come a day when they say, nah, we're not going to run that story. And I'm just sorry. I am just not going to ask somebody that don't look like me, can I go cover the Image Awards? Can I go cover American Black Film Festival? Can I go cover MOK 50? Do y'all understand? That wasn't a single cable news show that was in Memphis that broadcast their show. Unless the Hope did the newscast from there, we were there Monday through Thursday. They were only there that anniversary date. What I'm trying to say is this show matters because we don't have to ask anybody else, can we? If the funds were there, we'll be on a plane in the Bahamas. We would do our show from St. Thomas. We would do our show from African nations. We have to understand black newspapers, Robert Abbott, The Defender, A.I. Scott, Atlanta Daily World, they own the papers and they determine what they covered, which is why we celebrate them today. We should not talk about black media only in terms of the past. We should be talking about today and the future going. So trust me, the vision ain't just me having a show. The vision is literally building a digital network with multiple daily and weekly shows, with interstitials, with other reports. Oh, I have a list right now, y'all, of 25 people who I will call in a heartbeat to do that. But you got to have a successful one before you go to two. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, folks, that's my alpha brother, Gerald Albright. He's going to be one of the folks performing at the Luxe Jazz Experience in Cabo, November 7th through the 11th. I'll be broadcasting Roland Martin Unfiltered from there, of course, folks. It's going to be amazing, top-notch music in an upscale destination. It's a weekend-long event taking place at the Omnia Day Club in Los Cabos, which is nestled on the Sea of Cortez in the celebrity playground of Los Cabos, Mexico. And the Luxe Jazz Experience, folks, is an ultimate getaway. You talk about amazing music, luxury accommodations, fine food, top shelf liquor. They say libations, but y'all don't know what the hell that means. And of course, Scott don't, but he know that's just liquor. That's just liquor. It's liquor.
Liquor.
Of course, golf, spa, health, and wellness options, and a lot more, folks. There's going to be some of the big names in jazz on the second annual Luxe Jazz Experience. Is also going to have all sorts of different events, many concerts, including the Spirit of Jazz Gospel Brunch and the Jazz Sunset Cruise. Confirmed guests, comedian actor Mark Curry, as I said, Gerald Albright, Alex Bouillon, Raul Madan, Incognito, Pieces of a Dream, Kirk Whalum, Average White Band, Donnie McClurkin, Shalea, Roy Ayers, Tom Brown, Ronnie Laws, and Ernest Quarles. As I said, I'll be broadcasting Roland Martin Unfiltered from there that Thursday and Friday, and so you get to also be a part of our show audience. If you want more information, go to LifeLuxeJazz.com, LIFELUXE jazz.com. It's going to be a great time. Love to see you there. Packages beginning around $1,300. Go up from there, and so we would love to see all of you there. Again, go to LifeLuxeJazz.com, LIFELUXE jazz.com. We're going to have a fantastic time, and I can't look forward to it. And it's sort of like a pre-birthday celebration for me. My birthday's November 14th. We'll be there November 7th through the 11th, so really looking forward to all of that. All right, now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.